You're on your way to Ghana. Boy, oh boy, you stressed out, tired. God, you're going to be resting. Okay, then let me recommend to you JN Mobile Spa in Accra, Ghana. Oh boy, JN Mobile Spa, they provide organic care in massage. Are you stressed? Do you need rejuvenated, etc.? For your facials, maybe exfoliating, firming, and lifting? Then contact JN Spa on 00233244941 or 00233200606 and they will be right there on time. JN Mobile Spa, your health and beauty needs at your doorstep.
Running a business or managing your personal finances? Let GIL Accountancy Services take the stress away. As trusted chartered accountants and business advisors, we help you stay compliant, save tax, and grow with confidence. Whether you're self-employed, a landlord, run a limited company, or a charity, our tailored solutions are built for you. Claim your free initial consultation today. Call 079-61-248-834 or email dan@gilaccountants.com. GIL Accountancy Services, your partners in success.
Hi! I am recording from the beautiful country of Ghana. I'm staying at the Oceanic Resort here in Accra, Ghana, where I am topping up my vitamin D and feeling so energized and vibrant. As you can see, the lovely sea behind me and the sand. I've also brought my products with me, which also helps to energize me. I brought my P84, my Fighter Power X, and the new kid on the block, my Protandu. If you would like to hear more or learn more about these wonderful products that I'm taking, you can either inbox me or click on the link below. Thank you for listening. My health is definitely my wealth. Thank you.
It's so delicious. Like when you eat it, we got greens, meat, fish, everything is in there.
And the tilapia fish, it tastes amazing. Softness, moist, and definitely the taste.
Of the seasoning from Africa. The food is just like back home. From back home. Tastes very good.
I bring the Ghana to England. Yeah, can have what do you call the ampesi, fufu, chosavi, banku, wache, dollar Ghana dollar. Oh my God, Ama dollar. Name the food when you come to Ama to eat. Ama is not do it for you.
When you come to Amersfoort, you get the best chosavi in the whole United Kingdom. London. Yes.
As you can see, I've got short hair and I'm going to put it on and I'll show you the outcome. See you in a bit. And this is the result. And as you can see, I absolutely love it. So yeah, if you're looking for someone who can do really good quality extensions, new pop wigs and wigs, I highly recommend Kamina. Kamina hair.
Welcome to African Hill Resort, the perfect location for your honeymoon, conferences, breakfast meetings, and weekend getaways. Other facilities available include spa, rooftop bar, restaurant, indoor bar, swimming pool, lawn for parties, and outside catering. There is free Wi-Fi connectivity for you to stay in touch with your family, business associates, and the whole world. African Hill Resort is located on the Weta Hills with a panoramic view of whole township. For inquiries or reservations, call 0208 267 501 or 0209 135 196 or 0362 290.
You're on your way to Ghana. Boy, oh boy, you stressed out, tired. God, you're going to be resting. Okay, then let me recommend to you JN Mobile Spa in Accra, Ghana. Oh boy, JN Mobile Spa, they provide organic care in massage. Are you stressed? Do you need rejuvenated, etc.? For your facials, maybe exfoliating, firming, and lifting? Then contact JN Spa on 00233 244 941 002 or 00233 2006 06386, and they will be right there on time. JN Mobile Spa, your health and beauty needs at your doorstep.
Running a business or managing your personal finances? Let GIL Accountancy Services take the stress away. As trusted chartered accountants and business advisors, we help you stay compliant, save tax, and grow with confidence. Whether you're self-employed, a landlord, run a limited company, or a charity, our tailored solutions are built for you. Claim your free initial consultation today. Call 079-61-248-834 or email Dan at gilaccountants.com. GIL Accountancy Services, your partners in success.
I am recording from the beautiful country of Ghana. I'm staying at the Oceanic Resort here in Accra, Ghana, where I am topping up my vitamin D and feeling so energized and vibrant. As you can see, the lovely sea behind me and the sand. I've also brought my products with me, which also helps to energize me. I brought my P84, my Fighter Power X, and the new kid on the block, my Protandem. If you would like to hear more or learn more about these wonderful products that I'm taking, you can either inbox me or click on the link below. Thank you for listening. My health is definitely my wealth. Thank you.
It's so delicious. Like when you eat it, we got greens, meat, fish, everything is in there.
And the tilapia fish, it tastes amazing. Softness, moist, and definitely the taste.
Of the seasoning from Africa. The food is just like back home. From back home. Tastes very good.
I bring the Ghana to England, yeah. Can have what do you call the ampesi, fufu, chosavi, benku, weche, dollof, Ghana dollof. Oh my God, Ama dollof. Name the food. When you come to Ama to eat, Ama is not do it for you.
When you come to Amersfoort, you get the best chosavi in the whole United Kingdom. London. Yes.
As you can see, I've got short hair, and I'm going to put it on and I'll show you the outcome. See you in a bit. And this is the result. And as you can see, I absolutely love it. So yeah, if you're looking for someone who can do really good quality extensions, new pop wigs and wigs, I highly recommend Kamina. Kamina hair.
Welcome to African Hill Resort, the perfect location for your honeymoon, conferences, breakfast meetings, and weekend getaways. Other facilities available include spa, rooftop bar, restaurant, indoor bar, swimming pool, lawn for parties, and outside catering. There is free Wi-Fi connectivity for you to stay in touch with your family, business associates, and the whole world. African Hill Resort is located on the Iveta Hills with a panoramic view of whole township. For inquiries or reservations, call 0208 267 501 or 0209 135 196 or 0362 290.
You're on your way to Ghana. Boy, oh boy, you stressed out, tired. God, you're going to be resting. Okay, then let me recommend to you JN Mobile Spa in Accra, Ghana. Oh boy, JN Mobile Spa, they provide organic care in massage. Are you stressed? Do you need rejuvenated, etc.? For your facials, maybe exfoliating, firming, and lifting? Then contact JN Spa on 00233 244 941 002 or 00233 2006 06386, and they will be right there on time. JN Mobile Spa, your health and beauty needs at your doorstep.
Running a business or managing your personal finances? Let GIL Accountancy Services take the stress away. As trusted chartered accountants and business advisors, we help you stay compliant, save tax, and grow with confidence. Whether you're self-employed, a landlord, run a limited company, or a charity, our tailored solutions are built for you. Claim your free initial consultation today. Call 079 61 248 834 or email Dan at gilaccountants.com. GIL Accountancy Services, your partners in success.
I am recording from the beautiful country of Ghana. I'm staying at the Oceanic Resort here in Accra, Ghana, where I am topping up my vitamin D and feeling so energized and vibrant. As you can see, the lovely sea behind me and the sand. I've also brought my products with me, which also helps to energize me. I brought my P84, my Phytopower X, and the new kid on the block, my Protandem. If you would like to hear more or learn more about these wonderful products that I'm taking, you can either inbox me or click on the link below. Thank you for listening. My health is definitely my wealth. Thank you.
It's so delicious. Like when you eat it, we got greens, meat, fish, everything is in there.
And the tilapia fish, it tastes amazing. Softness, moist, and definitely the taste.
Of the seasoning from Africa. The food is just like back home, from back home. Tastes very good.
I bring the Ghana to England, yeah. Can have what do you call the ampesi, fufu, chosavi, benku, weche, dollof, Ghana dollof. Oh my God, Ama dollof. Name the food when you come to Ama to eat. Ama is not do it for you.
When you come to Amersfoort, you get the best chosavi in the whole United Kingdom, London. Yes.
As you can see, I've got short hair, and I'm going to put it on and I'll show you the outcome. See you in a bit. And this is the result. And as you can see, I absolutely love it. So yeah, if you're looking for someone who can do really good quality extensions, new pop wigs and wigs, I highly recommend Camina. Camina hair.
Welcome to African Hill Resort, the perfect location for your honeymoon, conferences, breakfast meetings, and weekend getaways. Other facilities available include spa, rooftop bar, restaurant, indoor bar, swimming pool, lawn for parties, and outside catering. There is free Wi-Fi connectivity for you to stay in touch with your family, business associates, and the whole world. African Hill Resort is located on the Iveta Hills with a panoramic view of whole township. For inquiries or reservations, call 0208 267 501 or 0209 135 196 or 0362 290.
Radio show
all around the world. Broadcasting live online. In your car,
at work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Are you ready to turn it up?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Smile though your heart is aching. Smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Hey, this is Archie and you are listening to Starr Radio UK and The Morning Show.
Online 24/7.
Enlighten your day with Starr Radio. Starr Radio. Radio for the people, by the people.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth and those of you on other planets as well. Want to salute each and every one of you and welcome you to the Starr Radio UK Thursday edition of the morning show. Today is Thursday, the 11th day of June, the year 2026, with the time now exactly at 16 minutes past the top of the hour. And from now till we bring the program to a close this morning or today, I'm going to be your captain and I remain yours sincerely, the one and only.
This is the morning show with Archie.
Well, you don't see me. Now you do. All right then, welcome to the program, Starr Radio UK. Well. Now, let me say good morning to my able producer, Mr. Francis Guy. Good morning to Perry. Good morning to Atakofi, Nianana Joe, all the way in Ghana. Sherman, Master, good morning to you. Delta Hammond and Mom, Mrs. Vida Hammond. Oh, you come and say, I hope you are all doing very, very well. Amen. Antonio, good morning to you all in Cape Town, South Africa, and all you people in South Africa and whatever things that are happening there. Let me say good morning to Mr. Laimi Koiki, Mr. Frank Davids, KB Bossman, Vicky Newton, and all you wonderful people who are tuning in this morning to listen to us wherever you are this morning. Once again, I say welcome to the program, Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Bishop Adesina, good morning to you. Pastor Emmanuel Chidi, good morning to you. Anthony Adedeji Samsudin Tasino, good morning to you all. All right then. So by what program online, I'm going to bring you the quote for the day, the weather forecast to follow suit, then the travel update. We'll move from there to have a look at some of the stories making the rounds this morning. At exactly 11:45, the line will be activated. We'll continue until bring the topics or the stories that we are looking at or to a close by the end of the program, and then we'll bring the curtains down for the end of the program. By in a gist, that's what's going to happen today. And once again, I say welcome to the program. This is Starr Radio UK, and as I said earlier on, I remain yours sincerely,
Archie on Starr Radio. Nobody does it better.
Okay. No, it's kicking off from the quote for the day. It says, success does not flow from inordinate objectives, passive things or conditions, but from people with a prepared minds. How prepared are you this morning? How are you planning things? How are you looking at things objectively and putting things together? Make sure when success comes or the breakthrough comes, you're not found wanted. Starr Radio UK. Now let's move on to the weather front. Well, it was tipping like no man's business whilst I was on my way to the studio. This afternoon will be cloudy. A band of rain will move in from the west, but this will turn patchier and lighter later in the day. Tonight will be breezy and largely dry with generally cloudy skies and just the odd clear breaks there as well. Temperature is going to be 16 degrees. The lowest is going to be 15 degrees. And UV level, low pollution, low pollen, low as well. Sunset 21:17 and sunrise for tomorrow morning is going to be at 04:44 hours. That brings us to the end of the weather forecast for today. Wait, by this time, you know the drill. We now have to move on straight to the travels. And what have I got for you? As I say, keep your eyes on the roads. Keep your eyes on the roads as you keep you navigated our promise, our gone. So those of you using the underground this morning here in London, well, apart from the Victoria line that is experiencing minor delays due to traffic fault at Walthamstow Central, all the others are running a good service. Landing overground good service, DLR and London Tramlink good service there. On the major roads in London, A3 and Central London red routes are all experiencing serious delays. If you can avoid it, do your best to do so. That aside, all the others have no exceptional delays there. On the riverbeds, good service throughout the London cable car is also running a good service. Bringing us to the final segment of the travel update, and that is the National Rail. And what have I got for you? As I say, keep your eyes on the roads, keep your eyes on the roads as you keep navigated our promise, our bond. So on the National Rail, East Midlands Railway, Northern Rail, Southeastern Railway are all offering special services. Also, Transparent Express and Transport for Wales special services. That aside, all the others are running a good service. And as I would say normally, as I will, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you, wherever you might be on planet Earth. Enjoy your coming for today. But you know what? Continue to keep those eyes where? On the roads. We'll take a commercial break, we come back. And then I'll be taking you global trotting. Don't touch the dial. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Welcome to African Hill Resort, the perfect location for your honeymoon, conferences, breakfast meetings, and weekend getaways. Other facilities available include spa, rooftop bar, restaurant, indoor bar, swimming pool, lawn for parties, and outside catering. There is free Wi-Fi connectivity for you to stay in touch with your family, business associates, and the whole world. African Hill Resort is located on the Weta Hills with a panoramic view of whole township. For inquiries or reservations, call 0208 267 501 or 0209 135 196 or 0362 290.
You're on your way to Ghana. Boy, oh boy, you stressed out, tired? Go, you're going to be resting. Okay, then let me recommend to you JN Mobile Spa in Accra, Ghana. Oh boy, JN Mobile Spa, they provide organic care in massage. Are you stressed? Do you need rejuvenated, etc.? For your facials, maybe exfoliating, firming, and lifting? Then contact JN Spa on 00233 244 941 002 or 00233 2006 06386, and they will be right there on time. JN Mobile Spa, your health and beauty needs at your doorstep.
Running a business or managing your personal finances? Let GIL Accountancy Services take the stress away. As trusted chartered accountants and business advisors, We help you stay compliant, save tax, and grow with confidence. Whether you're self-employed, a landlord, run a limited company, or a charity, our tailored solutions are built for you. Claim your free initial consultation today. Call 079-61-248-834 or email Dan at gillaccountants.com. GIL Accountancy Services, your partners in success.
Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Yo, what's up, people? This is a boy Raskin Bobo One. Tune in every day, every night at the Starr Radio UK with the big man them Archie. When I say Orta, you say fire.
Welcome back to the program Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to 11:24, and now it's time for us to go global. Trotting and kicking off from home here. Well, it's going on. Well, 2 days on, Northern Ireland Secretary warns of sense of fear among ethnic minorities after second night of riots. That's what is going on. 12 police officers were injured and a water cannon was deployed during the unrest. That's what the story is saying. Prompted by a serious knife attack. And I don't know exactly what is going on there. But it's quite a scary time. The minority. And then nearly 3,000 patients a day in England face corridor care in NHS. Now, the issue I've been asking, but we'll come to that discussions, because if you look at the fact that the number of people who troop into particular hospitals at particular times and the care that has to be given to them, what do you expect? They cannot, when you come in, create, but let's leave that. When we come to the details of the story, we'll be looking at that. Make stolen phones unusable. Met Police urges tech giants. Yeah, I think that's what will help. Mike Ashley's Fraser's offer of 1.73 billion to buy all of Hugo Boss. Okay, let's see. Those are some of the stories making the rounds here. But today, Thursday, the World Cup kick off earnestly in the, so I call it tripartite. In Mexico, as we did say, it's going to be South Africa versus Mexico. They will open the World Cup today. We're telling you more about all that. But in another story, Trump says, I love the inflation as U.S. prices rise at fastest rate in 3 years. So the prices are rising and he says he loves it. Now, is he looking at the fact that people are suffering out of that or what? But I'm going to be telling you more about all that. Maybe I also have to love inflation, right? Okay, and we tell the Bank of England governor to love inflation as well. And then maybe interest rate will come down. Now, Trump says, I love the inflation as U.S. prices rise at fastest rate in 3 years. The U.S. president later said he had meant that he actually loved that inflation was not higher. So he's saying that he misspoke. Bill Gates says Epstein wanted personal relationship, but he never reciprocated. Let's see, Republicans gain edge over Democrats in redistricting battle. Internal party assessments have found, well, they're doing that to better their chances of controlling. But what do you see and what will happen? Well, ladies and gentlemen, Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, the World Cup fever and actually kicks off, as I did say. Mexican chase a world record wave, but is a trend even Mexican at all? And well, those are some of the stories making the rounds still there. Now moving on straight to Europe as well. Let's see what is happening in Europe. Well. Pope Leo visits Canary Islands to highlight perilous journeys of migrants and French singer Patrick Bruel and the former investigation for rape, and Ryanair investigated overcharging parents to sit with children. You know, I did talk about Ryanair, and I did say at times say this is a plane that when you have to buy your ticket and you have to pay for your seat, and then if not you'll be standing, you'll be carrying your luggage as well. Well. That's just, by the way, it's just a joke. I've not ever flew Ryanair before. So, okay, ICC suspends top prosecutor after investigating misconduct allegation. I'll bring you more on that. Quite an interesting one, right? Okay, Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, in Asia as well. 3 Indian sailors killed in U.S. strike on oil tanker. The U.S. military had attacked the Palau flag tanker on Wednesday after accusing it of not complying with directions. Well, how is that going to sit with the Indian government? Well, let's see how it's all. A Thai court sentenced 2 men to death over Bangkok shrine bombings. A Chinese police detained man after a dog torture video sparks outrage. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London at 11:29 before we take a break. Okay, and next, U.S. and Iran exchange strikes across Middle East for second day in a row. Trump said they're going to be bringing more, so we don't know what. But they say inflation. He last said, they say he spoke though. Is it that he's losing his marbles like our former president was also? Now, in other stories, Nigeria evacuates citizens from South Africa as anti-migrant sentiment rises. Nigeria is the latest African state to repatriate citizens following reports of xenophobic attacks. And then, in other stories, who is the Somali referee barred from the entire U.S. From the U.S. for the World Cup, for entering the U.S. For the World Cup. And in other story that is making the rounds as well, fall in official Ebola numbers appears to be good news, but it's not that simple. There are some stories making the round. The cash in the sofa saga that won't go away for South Africa's president Cyril Ramaphosa. I don't know, maybe I'll open a bank in my sofa as well. That'll be good, right? Not in my wallet, but in my sofa. So I put huge sums of money there. Would I do? Would I cut it? Well, ladies and gentlemen, Starr Radio UK. In other stories making the rounds this morning. Okay. Nigerian nationals in South Africa repatriated amid growing anti-migrant tension. There are some story that we did put up. It's making the rounds on other platforms as well. And then in now from Nigeria, once again, Sanwo-Olu unveils Lagos APC governorship deputy candidates for 2027. And Akpabio to APC are members panicking over the delayed list of successful candidates. And Tinubu reforms have thrown 63% Nigerians into poverty, says IMF. 63% of Nigerians, so majority of them into poverty. Is it that the reforms are one that was initiated by Nigeria or the Tinubu government, and therefore the IMF is thinking that because you didn't take maybe our measures or what our policies in place, so you're not going to get something good out of that. Is that what they're trying to say there? The President Mahamat's approval rating drops from 68% to 58%. IEA is saying there. A new job in South Assembly spends $255,000 to replace stolen street lights cables, needs $40,000 for traffic light repairs. Well, I'm going to be telling you more about all that. Why don't we go solar? Because we got a lot of it. Can't we do so? Well. It is all coming away from Starr Radio UK. Now, one other story that seemed to be making the rounds pertaining to Wontumi. Now, the years of jail time. Okay, the High Court in Accra, presided over by Justice Audrey Akubite, has set Friday, July 3, 2026 for the delivery of judgment in the Samaran Boy case involving New Patriotic Party Ashanti Regional Chairman Bernard Chubozi probably known as Chairman want me. This follows the closure of the case after the completion of the cross-examination both the witness and prosecution and accused persons. I'm going to be telling you more about that. Someone looking at that, oh, he's going to have the years of jail time he could get. And if he gets 1 year, and people are saying he gets 1 year, he just goes, keep his head down, and then comes back up, and then come and enjoy. So the issue that I'm asking this morning is, if we find out that people have been involved in some criminalities, and it's a criminality, but I'm saying it's a criminality, and all those illegal minings and stuff like that, where we can see, honestly, that with everything that is happening, there's a tendency that these individuals who are, let's say, I'm not saying misspending, but corrupting or stealing state funds and doing criminal activities, they can keep whatever they have, go and serve a term of maybe 1 year, and they come and enjoy their monies or whatever thing that they've taken, they've stolen and stuff like that. What do you think is going to happen? But ladies and gentlemen, this is Starr Radio UK. A lot more going to be coming your way. This will come your way from Starr Radio UK. In Africa still, US dismantles West Africa Birth Tourism Network and revokes over 100 visas. West African Birth Tourism Network and revokes over 100 visas. Quite a scary one, right? We may not have the stars, but we have the spirit. Viadams predicts strong black star run. I'm looking forward to that day when they're going to be playing the England, the Three Lions, and we'll see how it's all going to be. Success is built on discipline, not talent. It's Ankuma on becoming Fansipim best student from weakest class. Wow. So discipline, not talent. Well, one of the outspoken lawyers that I really like. And well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. We'll take a break. We come back, bring you the details of the stories, make it around this morning. This is Starr Radio UK, and this is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
I am recording from the beautiful country of Ghana. I'm staying at the Oceanic Resort here in Accra, Ghana, where I am topping up my vitamin D and feeling so energized and vibrant. As you can see, the lovely sea behind me and the sand. I've also brought my products with me, which also helps to energize me. I brought my P84, my Fighter Power X, and the new kid on the block, my Protandu. If you would like to hear more or learn more about these wonderful products that I'm taking, you can either inbox me or click on the link below. Thank you for listening. My health is definitely my wealth. Thank you.
It's so delicious. Like when you eat it, we got greens, meat, fish, everything is in there.
And the tilapia fish, it tastes amazing. Softness, moist, and definitely the taste.
Of the seasoning from Africa. The food is just like back home, from back home. Tastes very good.
I bring the Ghana to England, yeah. Can have what do you call the ampesi, fufu, chosavi, benku, weche, dolof, Ghana dolof. Oh my God, Ama dolof. Name the food when you come to Ama to eat. Ama is not do it for you.
When you come to Amersfoort, you get the best chosavi in the whole United Kingdom, London. Yeah.
Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancer taking over. Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancer taking over. Yo, what's up, people? This is a boy Raskin Bobo One. Tune in every day, every night at the Starr Radio UK with the big man them Archie. When I say Arta, you say fire.
Starr Radio UK. All right, then. We're going to be going into the details of the story, but before then, Health with Patricia going to be coming your way soon on Starr Radio UK. My producers have decided that they're going to be moving it a bit further, so it's going to be on a Tuesday, though, but it's going to be coming your way on the 30th. Is it the 23rd or the 30th? They're going to confirm that of June. Yes, so not next week, the 16th, but it's going to be the 23rd. But we'll do our best to see whether we can have Patricia herself joining us on the show. Whatever you are this morning, it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. All right, then. Now, let's move on. Let's move on, bringing you the details of all the stories making the rounds this morning. Now, first of all, a second night of unrest in Northern Ireland. London Island Secretary has warned of a sense of fear among ethnic minorities after a second night of riots. Now, 12 police officers have been injured and 16 people arrested in the second night of rioting in Northern Ireland, prompted by a serious knife attack in Belfast. The police service of Northern Ireland will shortly be giving an update, and we'll be telling you more once we have that. Now, Hilary Benn, the UK's Northern Ireland Secretary, says a sense of fear has spread among ethnic minority people after the night of violence. A trade union Unison says a nurse with a different skin color was chased into the Ulster hospital by 4 masked men. Local resident Paul Shaki reported that he felt petrified last night, saying he witnessed a masked man walking up his street, setting fire to homes. On Wednesday, a 30-year-old originally from Sudan appeared in court charged with attempted murder over a knife attack that caused serious injuries to victim Stephen Oglip. Now, I have a big issue and a big question to ask. What can be done under this circumstance? But I'm looking at it this way. Now, so people come in, let's say Sudan is one of the war-torn countries. So the person came in on, they said 2023 or 2024. So about 3 years, 4 years, and then he's been given leave to remain. Or it's been it's been granted an asylum to be here. Now, as to how long or whatever, I'm not very sure about that. But the question is, now when people are like that are coming in from war-torn countries, how are we able to assess them whether these individuals are hard criminals or people who are having a mental meltdown because of the trauma that they've been through? Whatever thing that is happening, because it is. Because if you tell me I should fill a form and I've filled the form and you want to take fingerprints and I've done that and all those things, we don't have international data that captures whatever activities I've been involved in the past before coming here. So it's very, very difficult for the authorities to be able to straight on say, okay, this person is okay, he's not going to be blah, 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 blah. Or as the vice president of the is it the vice president? No. The defense secretary in the U.S. Steve Hegseth was saying sometime last week when they were celebrating the 82nd anniversary of the Second World War ending, or is it the D-Day landings or one of those? The issue became that now when you have, he was talking about religion, that people are coming with all sorts of religion. We know that now the U.S. has lined up a particular religion, or have a list of religions that if you belong to, then apart from the countries that Trump administration have decided to put them on a watch list that they are not allowed to come, a ban list that they are not allowed to apply for, this in which Somalia happened to be one, and therefore that referee wasn't allowed into the U.S. Okay, so but no, he was carrying a diplomatic passport, so which shows is a verification. But again, well, now police in Scotland as well now say 2 people were arrested and 3 officers injured during a protest outside a hotel in Greenock that has been used to house asylum seekers. The two police vehicles were also damaged as items were thrown at officers near the Holiday Inn Express on Wednesday evening. The arrested men were issued with fixed penalty notices for antisocial behavior. Now, Speaking in the media this morning, the Northern Ireland Secretary Hilary Benn condemned the violence in Northern Ireland as racist thuggery. Now, if you are burning someone out of their home, saying foreigners out, what other word would you use? He says it has created a sense of terror and fear among ethnic minorities in Northern Ireland. Now, others have also condemned the attacks as racially motivated in statement this morning. Now, these acts serve no one and only cause harm and fear within communities, said Northern Ireland Infrastructure Minister Liz Kimmins. Now, after vehicle owned by her department was set on fire in a depot in County Antrim. Now, every time a politician blames migrants and refugees for problems created by our unjust economic system, it fuels hatred, said Unison General Secretary Andrea Egan on X, calling on leaders to stop emboldening the far right. Now, blaming a group of people for the awful actions of an individual leads us to a very dark place, said the Green Party leader Zach Polensky, accusing Elon Musk of stoking violence on X. Now, the question is, if Elon Musk is doing something like that, or people, I don't want to pinpoint him or target him or isolate him in this case. Now, if there are individuals who are doing so, what does the law say about it? When people are encouraging or fomenting or stoking, what do we do about that? Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Starr Radio UK. And what do you think is the way forward? How do we assess people, if we want to do it quickly, to make sure that they qualify for let's say to reside in a country? How do we do so? How do we ascertain their mental health? Are we going to now say, okay, you have to do a mental health check when you come into the country for us to ascertain whether you are not traumatized by anything or you don't have other this? And then again, we're looking at religions and extremists and stuff like that. How do we work on all those fronts? Now, some people are talking about the fact that they think that people don't have a fair chance of just traveling or going to avenues where they can go. So they go to the High Commission and then they can apply for a visa and they can then be interviewed or everything, blah, blah, blah. And then they will see whether they have the right to come into the country. But the issue is the World Health Organization, the UN treaty or charter talked about the fact that when you are being pursued or you are fleeing from a particular point or wherever, a war-torn country, famine or whatever, the first country that you get to where it gives you, where they belong to the UN and stuff, that's where you have to apply. But people don't. And there are others who are encouraging these people to be crossing over to this place. Is it because the laws of the UK is so flexy? Why are they not living in France? Because if they were all, let me put it this way, if they were all English-speaking countries or people from English-speaking countries and they were all trooping into this place, I would say, oh, maybe because they don't understand the foreign language that they have to speak, and therefore they think that the English is a language that they've learned or they've grown up in, and therefore to live in a place where you understand their language makes it easier for you. But it's not so. So the issue is, why are they trooping in here? Is it because people come in and abuse the system? That is what is happening? Or what? Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's quite an interesting one, and they're very, very difficult and challenging times for the minority in the UK, because you don't know who or what somebody is thinking. But wherever you are this morning, I want to say thank you very much for tuning in at 40 minutes to the top of the hour, the morning show, the program. I remain yours sincerely, the one and only Archie, as we continue to bring you everything that you need to know as we go on. Now there is this other story that, let me look at it. And you go to the NHS, you go to the hospitals, and you see most of the workers there, the doctors, the nurses, most of them coming from minority ethnic groups. Now, nearly 3,000 patients a day had to be cared for in hospital corridors or makeshift treatment areas rather in a bed on a ward in England last month, figures show. It is the first time that the data has been published and revealed the scale of the challenge facing the NHS in tackling what ministers say is unsafe and unacceptable. But let's say to a particular night or particular month, and people are trooping in. It's not like the hospital. I mean, if people are being, they are in, they are not well yet, and therefore you cannot discharge them. What do you expect them to do? What do you expect them to do? So when you come in quickly, maybe they do 1, 2, 3, they say out. Then another person is coming in. But this is a case where people come in, and there are a lot of things that people do. Various councils. People come in there, they place them there, and then people who are also looking for accommodation and stuff like that. And then when it's time for them to be decided, they say they don't have a home to go to. So then the government now or the NHS have to find a place for them. So the social services now have to come in to be doing also to get them somewhere before they are now discharged from the hospital. Do you blame the NHS for doing so? And so we come on and we continue to say those things. And then some councils, what they do is they come and place their people. So if they place them here in hotels and stuff, then the council here will have to be taking care and all those things that are going on. But it's quite a big challenge. That's why when somebody sits there and says, you know, when I come into power, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do B, I'm going to do A, blah, blah, blah. I look at them and I said, I laugh. I'm not saying that you go there and there is some money sitting in some cupboard somewhere that you're going to just put your hand in, and because they are not spending, you go and take it and say, oh, spending on this one and spending on that one. We are building houses here, and then overnight, then push, you do it. Now, I don't think even the UK is governable. It's difficult because you come in, they don't give you a breather. You look at the majority and the popularity that the Labour Party had. Here, Starmer having riding very high, coming into office, and people were thinking, well, but the thing is, if you understand politics, if you understand governance or management, you understand that you cannot do things overnight. These are systems or policies that have been put in place or entrenched for what? When the Conservatives were in, they've been in power. They were in power for 14 years. So there have been lots of changes, a lot of modifications and things that you, whilst we are sitting on the fence looking at as a opposition person, saying that these are the things that when we come into power, we're going to change. But you come in, you cannot change it overnight like that. So you have to go through the processes, and where you have challenges from legal challenges from various people who are opposing, blah, blah, blah. So it's not overnight. So it takes a bit of time. Now they are in, is that 2 years now since he came into power? And oh boy, he's suffering badly, right? But at least if you understand governance or management very well, you understand the fact that you have to give them a lot of time. So let's say even 4 years will not be enough for, but at least you should see the telltale signs that things are germinating. Whatever things that is so are germinating. And then you can now say, but we don't have the heart to wait for that. So you come in, you promise you're going to give me a phone, and then you come in, and if let's say there's a Samsung factory or the iPhone factory, wherever it might be, and you consulted the manufacturers, and they are saying that it's going to take us about 2 years for it to be done, and I've not gotten it. Though you have placed the order for me, so I just have to wait for another maybe 2 months for it to come. And people are saying, no, I've not gotten it, and therefore, boom, boom, boom. So it is. I don't know whether it's more of education or awareness, or is it that with the onslaught of social media, it makes it difficult for government to be able to control the narrative, because somebody who is sitting somewhere who is just stoking the fire can just say anything, and people don't go in to check for anything, whether whatever thing that they are being told is the truth or not, but they just quickly want to just run into it and just do whatever thing that they want to do. But boy, Starr Radio UK, it is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's move on to other parts of the world. But if it's the NHS who are deliberately keeping people in and then 7 other people outside, then maybe, but I don't think so. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. As I've said, the World Cup kicks off earnestly today in Mexico with the first match between Mexico and South Africa. Well, what are the African countries going to? Who are the African countries going to support now with Mexico? Oh boy. Well. Now, President Donald Trump has said, I love the inflation after official figures show that U.S. prices rose last month at their fastest rate for 3 years. Now, Bureau of Labor Statistics figures of May show that the prices had gone up 4.2% over the previous 12 months. The rate of increase from 3.8% in April was driven by rising energy costs in the wake of the U.S.-Israel war in Iran. In the quote, he said, I love it. The numbers were great. You know what? I love the inflation, Trump said at the White House. But he promised the rising prices will come down like a rock when the war with Iran was over. The U.S. and Iran have again exchanged fire in recent days. And Trump later told the New York Post that his remarks had been taken out of context, saying he had meant that he actually loved the fact that inflation was not higher. I love the inflation numbers because of what I'm talking about. Trump told the Post, the numbers are going to be phenomenal because what's showing is that despite the fact that we're in a war, the numbers are much lower than anticipated. And we're out of the war. And when we're out of the war, the numbers will be at lower numbers than they were even before it started. I bet he finished and they said I won't be fighting with the governor for the federal bank. Yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Starr Radio UK, we are moving on. But interestingly, in the war in Iran, the vice president has said some few things, and it's quite, should I say, worrying or true or I don't know. But Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has certainly gotten some things wrong. U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance has said as ties between the two partners in the war against Iran appear to have become strained in recent weeks. Now, while Vance would not provide examples, he said the U.S. partner, then Netanyahu aggressively asserts the interests of his country, but that they were not always aligned with those of the U.S. His comments mark a further public admission that the relations between the two allies have come under pressure of late. Recently, U.S. President Donald Trump reportedly clashed with the Israeli leader over military action in Lebanon that brought renewed strikes and threatened peace talks with Tehran. The U.S. and Iran exchanged strikes for a second consecutive day overnight, straining a ceasefire between the two nations that has remained in place since April. And let's see, maybe you have to be praying about it and see what is going to come out of it. But it's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK at 5 minutes to the top of the hour at the time, the morning show, the program. And I remain yours sincerely, the one and only
Archie on Starr Radio. Nobody does it better.
Now let's move on to Europe and let's see what is happening there. Well, the Pope himself. Now, Bakari Jaiju was 19 when he climbed into a wooden boat in Gambia and set out for Europe. He will be at sea for 7 frightening days as his supplies of food and water gradually ran out. You can't even sleep in case you fall in. He recalled now in Tenerife after finally reaching the Canary Island late last year in search of a better life. I decided to go whether I survive or I die because I want my family to be in a good condition, said Jaiju, explaining why he left his wife and baby behind and risked the treacherous waters of the Atlantic. In the few months since he reached the southernmost tip of Europe, hundreds of others have died trying. It is their plight and the dramatic story of those who do make it that Pope Leo will highlight during his visit to Spanish Island, which began in Gran Canaria on Thursday. The Pope focus is clear counterpoint to talk elsewhere of migration crisis and ideological invasion. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a break. We come back. We continue with the show. Stay tuned and don't touch the dial.
As you can see, I've got short hair. and I'm going to put it on and I'll show you the outcome. See you in a bit. And this is the result. As you can see, I absolutely love it. So yeah, if you're looking for someone who can do really good quality extensions, new pop wigs and wigs, I highly recommend Kamina. Kamina hair.
Welcome to African Hill Resort, the perfect location for your honeymoon, conferences, breakfast meetings, and weekend getaways. Other facilities available include spa, rooftop bar, restaurant, indoor bar, swimming pool, lawn for parties, and outside catering. There is free Wi-Fi connectivity for you to stay in touch with your family, business associates, and the whole world. African Hill Resort is located on the Beta Hills with a panoramic view of whole township. For inquiries or reservations, call 0208 267 501 or 0209 135 196 or 0362 290.
Welcome back to the program Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. And let me take the opportunity to say good morning to Pastor Joyce Lawson, my own bluffo. I hope you are doing very, very well. Lovely seeing you. I hope your day is going very, very well. Okay. All right then. Now, with our time, it's almost 12 o'clock. Let me activate the line. The line is open. You want to join in, feel free to do so. Call us via Teams and it's Starr Radio UK, or you can post on the platforms that we are broadcasting on. As Pastor Joyce Lawson, I call her Bluffo, has done this morning. All right, now, a few moments to afternoon. But wherever you are, it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, moving on to other stories making the rounds before we come to the African front as well. One of France's best-known show business stars, Patrick Brewer, had been placed under judicial investigation on several counts of rape and sexual abuse in the latest fallout from the Me Too movement. After 2 days in custody in the western Paris suburb of Nanterre, the 67-year-old singer and actor went before a panel of judges on Wednesday evening. They confirmed the state prosecutor request that Brewer be placed under investigation in several cases of rape, attempted rape, and sexual assault and harassment. Now, Brewer had consistently denied the charges against him. The judges released him from custody under judicial supervision, rejecting a request from prosecutors that he remain in detention. Being placed under investigation means that an examining magistrate will now look more deeply into the charges against Brewer, now whose lawyers will have access to the prosecution file. In most cases, the procedure results in a trial. Is there going to be a trial? And it is Me Too thing. At times when the issue, the accused person actually perpetrated the act. Well, but at times when people are crying, woof, and there's no woof, and that's where the issue is. So, well, if you're crying woof, then make sure that actually there is a woof, not that you have just put a stuffed animal there to be doing so. But, well, kudos to them. There are French authorities there as well. Welcome your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Bringing the time now to 12:01. Good afternoon, wherever you are, and welcome to the Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, in Asia, 3 Indian sailors who were reported missing have been killed after the U.S. military struck a tanker in the Gulf of Oman. A federal minister has said the Palu flag MT Stabelo came under attack on Wednesday after the U.S. military accused it of not complying with directions from American forces. There were 24 Indian crewmen on board, of which 21 were rescued. In a post on X, Indian shipping minister Sabananda Sonowal called the incident deeply unfortunate, adding that the bodies of the 3 men will be brought back soon. Following the strike, the Indian government has summoned the deputy head of the U.S. mission in Delhi. The U.S. military had accused Bello of violating an American blockade by attempting to transport oil from Iran. In a post on X, the U.S. Central Command said an aircraft fired precision munition into the engine room of the tanker after the crew repeatedly failed to follow directions. This is the second vessel with Indian crew that has come under attack from the U.S. this week. On Monday, U.S. forces hit the Marivex, also a Palu-flagged oil tanker with an Indian crew in the Gulf of Oman that is failed to comply with the U.S. instructions, CENTCOM has said. So what are they expecting them to do now? Quite an interesting one, right? Well, so they are barring banning every shipment from Iran, and then you also, if they say stop, you just stop. If they just stop, and then you want to just move on, you don't have the power to that. They will do whatever. But well, some people think that you had to go on and do whatever you got to do, and let's call it a bluff. Starr Radio UK. Let me touch on a couple of stories and then we'll move on from there. According to Thailand, has found 2 men guilty of carrying out the country's worst ever terrorist attack and sentenced them to death. The 2 men, both from China's Uyghur minority, were convicted of planning and detonating a powerful bomb on the evening of the 17th of August 2015 next to a shrine in central Bangkok that is popular with foreign tourists. 20 people were killed and more than 120 injured. However, flaws in the police investigation and in the 10-year-long trial of the 2 men who had pleaded not guilty have left questions hanging over the verdict. The bomb exploded a short distance from the BBC bureau in Bangkok. And one of the reporters said, I was there within a couple of minutes. The blast had ripped through people praying at the Erwan shrine and knocked over motorbike riders waiting at the nearby intersection, setting some of them on fire. Paramedics and ambulances were quickly on the scene and began treating the injured or laying sheets over the dead. I watched them helping a man whose wife lay lifeless next to him. His injuries were not life-threatening, so they gently asked him to wait, getting him to hold his wife's hand while they tended to other casualties. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Starr Radio UK. I don't know how people can perpetrate such ill. I don't know what goes on in people's heads for them to be doing so. But it's quite an interesting one from there. So come your way from Starr Radio UK. And we're moving on straight to the African front at 6 minutes past the top of the hour. Now, Nigeria has become the latest African state to repatriate some of its citizens from South Africa following a rise in anti-migrant sentiments in the country. A flight carrying 268 Nigerians had landed in Lagos after leaving Joburg on Thursday morning. The passengers were part of around 1,000 people who the Nigerian consulate in South Africa have registered to be repatriated. Ghana, Zimbabwe, and Malawi have already carried out evacuations ahead of the 30th June deadline set by some campaigners for undocumented migrants to leave. Now, many people from other parts of Africa moved to South Africa around the time white minority rule ended in 1994, hoping for a better life. But with South Africa facing an unemployment rate of more than 30%, anti-migrant sentiments have risen, with protest marches being held in major cities and people facing xenophobic attacks. At the main international airport in Joburg, Justin, one of the Nigerian passengers, told the BBC that he had lived in South Africa since 1998. And he said, I'm leaving because of the conditions they've given us here. They say we must leave on or before 30th of June. And because of the way they are killing people, killing our brother, so I'm not safe, Justin said. Now, recently they attacked me in a taxi. I ran away and left my things. I left my phone and everything. They call us names and say, you must leave this country. When we tried to beg them, they started insulting us. There have been no official figures regarding the number of deaths caused by xenophobic violence in recent weeks. Now, the police have said 2 Mozambican men were killed in Western Cape province earlier this month, but have not given a motive. The Mozambican authorities have said the death toll was higher and their citizens have been killed as a result of xenophobia. Some of the protesters have pointed the finger at migrants for South Africa's high unemployment rate and putting pressure on public services like schools and hospitals. However, Nigeria's Consul General in South Africa, Nini Kanwa Okeuche, told the BBC that migrants were not the problem. She said migrants made us less than 10% of South Africa's population and could not be blamed for broken systems in education, healthcare, policing, and employment. They are not and cannot be the problem. So migrants are basically being scapegoated. Okay, Uchu added. A spokesman for the South Africa Border Management Agency said on the TV station Newsroom Africa that none of the passengers on the flight had documents to leave in South Africa legally. Okay, Uche said she did not have the figures, but delays in processing application could lead to some people ending up as undocumented migrants. She added that the South African authorities need to do more to act against people propagating these xenophobic attacks and anti-foreigner sentiments. Now, interestingly, there are other businesses in Ghana, in all these West African countries that are owned by South Africa. So how would they feel if there is a retaliatory attack on their people? And then come to the other stuff that I normally talk about. Back in the day, whilst we were students, we were around demonstrating for the release of Nelson Mandela, for apartheid to be abolished, because those of them there in South Africa were being clamped down like no man's business. But we put pressure out here. There were various demonstrations, various things that we were doing. Okay, somebody said, "Oh, well, because you people are not there, so you've not seen." But in all in all, those pressures that we put on brought about that change in the system where WD de Klerk, FW de Klerk, and a few of them, and then all those things happening brought about the release of Nelson Mandela, and then apartheid being abolished and stuff like that. But at times you ask yourself the question: do the people who are perpetrating this act know the history of how the country arrived at where it was? And I remember back in the day, I remember it very well, because in the area where we lived in Accra, there was a hostel where we had lots of South African students who were brought in there. They've come in. Those who were in NAFTI, Ghana National Film and Television Institute, and those who were mates of ours in the Ghana Institute of Journalism, and all those bits that the government of Ghana was taking care of. They were giving them scholarships to come and study and do all those things. So when things have turned around for you, and then you think that all these ones, because they're coming there, because their processes are being delayed and their documents are being delayed and all those things, and you think that because of that, you have the right to do all those things, well. But somebody will say, go to the Bible, it is there. What did we say? They said when another Pharaoh came, and that Pharaoh didn't know Joseph, well, they started treating the Hebrews badly. There. Okay. But ladies and gentlemen, this is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. What do we do about it? We talk about the unification of Africa, Africa Unite, Africa Unite. But when we act this way, what what have we actually done? What have we actually done? It is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. Well, just like Watergate in the US, South Africa's Farmgate scandal started with a break-in, but since spiraled into something that could threaten the future of the sitting president. Cyril Ramaphosa now faces the possibility of being removed from office as MPs have taken the unprecedented step of setting up a committee that will recommend whether or not he should be impeached. The issue first came up in Parliament in 2022, but last month the county's highest court ruled that MPs had violated the constitution by blocking moves to impeach Ramaphosa. At the time, the president's African National Congress controlled more than half the seats in Parliament, but after the 2024 election, he no longer has a majority to rely on. It has started back in 2020 with a robbery at the president's private farm in Falafala, Limpopo province. Thieves broke in and allegedly stole $580,000 or 430,000 pounds in US dollars bill that had been stuffed into a sofa. But details only came out 2 years later when the country's former spy chief, Arthur Fraser, highlighted the alleged theft in an explosive dossier he sent to the police. Fraser, a close ally of former President Jacob Zuma, who Ramaphosa replaced, accused the head of state of hiding the theft from the police and tax authorities. At the time, Ramaphosa said there was no basis for the claims of criminal conduct. As the stolen cash was in foreign currency, it meant that the exchange control laws could have been contravened. The Reserve Bank looked into the issue and found that there were no violations of the Exchange Control Act, and public protector who investigates allegations of abuse of power found no wrongdoing on the president's part. But Parliament also began an impeachment process and established an independent panel to investigate the allegation. It came to some damning findings, including saying there was substantial doubt about the legitimacy of the source of the currency that was stolen, and concluding that Ramaphosa has a case to answer. But well, let's see what happens. The ANC can go through pain, demonstrating, but if this body that has been set up comes out to say, well, there is the need for us to investigate him, then what happens? Ladies and gentlemen, this is Starr Radio UK, and this is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's move on to other stories making the rounds this morning. It's all coming away from Starr, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, so moving on to other parts of Africa as well, whilst we are on, but I'm checking for any update that will come through. Well, the World Cup commences today in Mexico, where the host nation, Mexico, will be playing South Africa. I was talking about the support, and I was asking the question, who do you think is going to be supported? Because normally what happened was African countries like supporting African nations who are involved in. But with what is happening at the moment, will they get the necessary support that they need? We'll tell you more about that. I'm not sure of the time the game starts, but it'll be quite an interesting one to see. But still coming away from Starr Radio UK. From Nigeria. Okay. You know, when somebody who is died, you cannot get any evidence from him. It's nice to say so, but Economic and Financial Crimes Commission witness Christopher Odofin told the Federal Capital Territory High Court on Wednesday that the controversial unveiling of Nigeria Air days before the late President Muhammadu Buhari left office was a carefully choreographed display involving a chartered Ethiopian Airlines aircraft. Testifying on Wednesday before Justice C.S. Origi in Abuja, the EFCC investigator alleged that the aircraft presented to Nigerians as Nigeria Air on May 27, 2023 was merely leased for a 3-day public relations exercise designed to create the impression that the long-promised national carrier had become a reality before the administration exited power. The aircraft will depart from Addis Ababa late evening on May the 26th, 2023, for it to be positioned early morning on May 27, 2023 at Abuja ABV Airport. The aircraft will stay in ABV Airport for static display of Nigeria Air livery until 28th of May 2023, he said, reading from a portion of contract agreement with Ethiopian Airlines. The testimony came during the ongoing trial of former aviation minister Hadi Sirika, who is facing 6 amended counts of alleged abuse of office and misappropriation of more than 2 billion naira, alongside his daughter Fatima Sirika, his son-in-law Hama Sule, and Al Burak Global Investment Limited. According to the document tendered before the court, the aircraft arrived at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja on May 27, 2023, just 3 days before the end of Buhari administration, and departed for Addis Ababa on the morning of May 29, the day power was transferred to incumbent President Bola Tinubu. Odufin told the court that investigators discovered a charter agreement between Ethiopia Airlines and Nigeria Airway that explicitly outlined the aircraft role as a temporary display item. The aircraft would leave ABV Airport early morning on May 29, 2023. The chartered flight will be operated by the Ethiopian airline crew in Ethiopia Airline uniform. The federal government of Nigeria and Nigeria Air may put together local models who will be in the Nigeria Air uniform to pose for ceremonial pictures. The models may come to Addis Ababa so they may fly with the chartered flight to ABV, he told the court. The witness said the aircraft present in Nigeria was deliberately timed to coincide with the Sirika final days in office, alleging that after less than 72 hours on Nigeria soil, the Nigeria Air branding was removed. The aircraft returned to Ethiopia Airlines. Court documents show that the charter agreement was signed on May 24, 2023, just 5 days before Sirika left office, despite the government's repeated assurances that Nigeria Air was nearing operational takeoff after years of planning and public expenditure. Odufin testified that the contract of establishing Nigeria Air was awarded on April 4, 2022 to Teneru Nigeria Limited, a company allegedly linked to Gabriel Tillman, described in a court as a close associate of the former minister. The witness said the contract, initially valued over 299 million naira, was later extended to more than 599 million in Sirika's directives. According to him, investigators arrived at a conclusion after analyzing the phone of former permanent secretary in the ministry, Anitan Abel. The analysis allegedly revealed a voice note sent by Sirika from Spain directing the official to ensure that the contract was awarded to Teneru Nigeria Limited. The prosecution tendered multiple documents, including correspondence from Ethiopian Airlines dated June 12, 2022, which reportedly confirmed the temporary charter arrangement. Among the exhibits admitted by the court is a compact disc containing voice note allegedly sent by Sirika. The prosecution has indicated that the recording will be played during the subsequent proceedings. Justice Origi adjourned the case until June the 17th for continuation of trial. The testimony appears to reinforce long-standing criticism from aviation stakeholders who question the legitimacy of the unveiling ceremony in 2023. At the time, several industry groups, airline operators, and labor unions argued that the project lacked the regulatory and operational foundation required for a functioning national carrier, despite the high-profile launch event. The prosecution also sought to establish a pattern of preferential treatment in contract linked to the project. Now, interestingly, what I will say about this there is as to whether they the manpower to be able to manage that as a country is another thing, because this is a situation where we've seen it time and time and over again, where when the state owns, especially in Africa, in Ghana, in Nigeria, and some of the African countries. Ethiopia, they've done very well. I don't know whether Ethiopian Airlines is owned by a private entity or, yes, I don't know, or a corporate, what do you call it, by the nation itself. But you're looking at this and you find out that, well, when the state has not got himself involved in it, we have things ticking along nicely. Nigeria, private entities were of the view that don't do it because we are not in the position where we are able to manage our own airlines, and so let the private entities continue to manage or use bring in be in the aviation industry to do this. But I were of the view that they could have done something, and how many days more for the handover to take place, and they decided to bring that one in. But it's quite an interesting one. Why did the aviation secretary or minister say that, well, increase the money from 299 to 599? Is it that the money that they're going to be sharing or what? Because they knew that they were going to leave office? Well. I don't know whether it is Tinubu pursuing people or whatever is pursuing is pursuing. Ladies and gentlemen, Starr Radio UK. We're going to be running up pretty soon at 11:23, so I've got about another 7 minutes to bring the program to a close. But of course, when somebody comes into power, the Ghana's President John Mahama continues to enjoy public support with 58.9% Ghanaians approving of his job performance, according to a new nationwide poll released by Institute of Economic Affairs, the IEA. The poll is conducted in May 2026 across all 16 regions of Ghana, with over 1,000 respondents. Shows a decline from the 68% approval ratings recorded in December 2025. 12.8% of the respondents, however, expressed no opinion. Now, most Ghanaians continue to back President Mahama with 58.9% approval ratings in May. The IEA stated in its press release, among those who approved the economy, and road infrastructure are the leading reasons in reflecting public recognition of the administration's achievement in stabilizing the economy and embarking on a big push agenda. The economic stands out of the dominant factor behind the president's support, as nearly 3/4, 77% of those who approve cite the government handling of the economy as their main reason. So if they are doing something good, why not? Kudos to them. But if there's more to do, and I pray that God grants them the wisdom to be able to go on that path. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Starr Radio UK, and this is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. I bring you this one because definitely it's about West Africa and therefore it's going to impact some people. The United States Department of State has announced that a U.S. embassy in West Africa has dismantled a birth tourism network involving more than 100 foreign nationals as part of a wider global effort to combat visa fraud and abuse the U.S. immigration system. In a statement issued on Wednesday, June 10, the department said the operation uncovered a sophisticated scheme in which individuals allegedly used fraudulent documents and visa facilitators to obtain U.S. visitors' visa with the intention of giving birth in the United States. According to the State Department, the network relied on visa fixers who help applicants secure travel documents and make arrangements aimed at obtaining a U.S. citizenship for children born on U.S. soil. U.S. Embassy in West Africa uncovered a sophisticated birth tourism network of more than 100 foreign nationals using the fraudulent document and visa fixers to get themselves visas in order to get U.S. citizens for their children. We shut it down, revoked these foreign nationals' visas, and are coordinating with local authorities to systematically identify and cut off any similar operations, the department stated. The State Department did not disclose the specific West African country involved, but said it is collaborating with local authorities to prevent similar operations from emerging elsewhere in the region. The revelation forms part of a broader crackdown on birth tourism, a practice in which foreign nationals travel to the United States primarily to give birth so their children can acquire U.S. citizenship under the country's birthright citizenship laws. Now, reiterating its position, the department stressed that obtaining a visitor visa for the primary purpose of giving birth in the United States violates U.S. visa regulations. No foreigner is permitted to obtain a visitor visa for the primary purpose of acquiring U.S. citizenship for a child by giving birth in the U.S., the statement said. U.S. authorities indicated that the West African operation is one of the several cases uncovered globally. In Europe, officials have identified more than 400 suspected tourism cases since 2024 linked to at least 6 companies accused of coaching visa applicants, arranging accommodation and coordinating childbirth-related travels to the United States. The department said visa connected to those cases had been revoked, while several individuals involved in the facilities the scheme were permanently barred from traveling to the United States. Whoops! Well, ladies and gentlemen, these are some of the stories making the rounds this morning, and I'm grateful to say that I brought the program to a close now. God willing, tomorrow we're going to be back with the Friday edition of the morning show. Hopefully, we should have our money man, Mr. Dan Tabiri, joining in. But before we go, take this commercial break. Once we come back, we'll continue with I'll bring the program to a close. So stay tuned. But, well, I'm out like that. I'll see you all tomorrow. Ciao.
Running a business or managing your personal finances? Let GIL Accountancy Services take the stress away. As trusted chartered accountants and business advisors, we help you stay compliant, save tax, and grow with confidence. Whether you're self-employed, a landlord, run a limited company, or a charity, our tailored solutions are built for you. Claim your free initial consultation today. Call 079-61-248-834 or email Dan at gilaccountants.com. GIL Accountancy Services, your partners in success.
I am recording from the beautiful country of Ghana. I'm staying at the Oceanic Resort here in Accra, Ghana, where I am topping up my vitamin D and feeling so energized and vibrant. As you can see, the lovely sea behind me and the sand. I've also brought my products with me, which also helps to energize me. I brought my P84, my Fighter Power X, and the new kid on the block, my Protandem. If you would like to hear more or learn more about these wonderful products that I'm taking, you can either inbox me or click on the link below. Thank you for listening. My health is definitely my wealth. Thank you.
It's so delicious. Like when you eat it, we got greens, meat, fish, everything is in there.
And the tilapia fish, it tastes amazing. Softness, moist, and definitely the taste.
Of the seasoning from Africa. The food is just like back home, from back home. Tastes very good.
I bring the Ghana to England, yeah. Can have what do you call the ampesi, fufu, chosavi, benku, weche, dolof, Ghana dolof. Oh my God, Ama dolof. Name the food when you come to Ama to eat. Ama is not do it for you.
When you come to Amersfoort, you get the best chosavi in the whole United Kingdom, London. Yes.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed the show.